good afternoon and welcome to our free webinar for today brought to you by Vim Philippines. Ako nga po pala si Blessy. I'm one of the social media marketers and managers here at Vim Philippines. And I'm with my beautiful host for today, Ma'am Glenna.
Hello, hello. Good afternoon, everyone. Wonder VAs, kamusta kayong lahat? Welcome sa ating free weekly webinar and hi to you, my partner, Blessing.
Hello. Ayan, laging libre. Laging tinatanong to, Ma'am, talaga bang wala kaming babayaran after this? Kasi parang too good to be true.
100% legit. So,
Oo.
tell nyo sa amin kung sino yung singil na namin dyan. Okay? Libre po ito.
Oo. Libre yan with free certificate pa, 'di ba, ma'am?
Okay?
Basta matapos mo at magstay ka hanggang dulo ng webinar natin for today. Ayan, ma'am, ngayong araw na to ay huling araw ng January. Ang bilis.
Parang
So,
kailan lang. Nako.
'di ba? Parang pumikit ka lang pagising mo. Ay, February na pala bukas.
Oh, ang bilis. 1 days na ang nakaraan.
Oo, kamusta ba ang New Year's resolution mo, ma'am?
Yung sa exercise, gumugulong-gulong naman. Pero
Ayun no,
baka,
grabe.
alam ko kung February tutuloy. Depende to.
Ako, ma'am, nag-New Year's resolution, parang 5 days lang nagtagal, pero
Sa ano
hindi na
ba yan?
natuloy.
Sa pagpapapayat ba yan?
Sa pagda-diet, parang bukas na lang, ganun na lang lagi ang nasasabi.
Oo, ganun talaga.
Oo. Hello guys, kamusta naman? Pwede bang mag-heart-heart naman kayo dyan para naman maramdaman namin na nandito kayo. Click nyo lang yung react button, tas click nyo yung puso. Yun, no? Dami pala natin
Daming
ngayon.
mga
Welcome.
friends. Uy, sa
Welcome po.
ito. Uy, moving
Oh.
pa. Hmm.
Dami na. Ayan, pasok lang. Pasok lang kayo, guys. And if you want to invite friends, colleagues na gusto mong matuto sa field, ay sa topic na pag-uusapan natin ngayon, kita nyo naman sa screen, no? Social media marketing, isa sa mga sobrang sikat na niche or type of being a virtual assistant. So, bago tayo magsimula, Ma'am Glenna, my partner na napakaganda, tingnan nyo naman, oh. Ay di-discuss, ang ating house rules para may idea kayo lalo na sa mga first timers. Go, ma'am.
Alright. So, lagi nating tatandaan, maging kind sa ating, be kind to one another. Okay? No bashing or harsh words. Wala pong magandang patutunguhan yan. Okay? So, we don't know what the others are going through. So, let's use kind words. Kasi, pwede po tayo mag-type dito sa Q&A tab for your questions, queries. Like, for example, nagdi-discuss po si speaker later, tapos medyo relatable yung tanong nyo. Pwede nyo siyang i-chat. And if not, later on, masasagot naman yan after ng session. Okay, so yan. The chat box are for the announcements, links na isesend naming mga panelists. Naka-disable po yan, kaya dito po kayo sa Q&A tab makikita naming mga host. Okay? So, please remain for us to recognize you properly para kung sakali meron kayong erase na concern, sabihin namin na this question is coming from Blessy or Glenna, ganyan. So, and please, stay until the end for the attendance. And then, dun kami magbe-base ng certificate na isesend sa inyo. Mag-abang lang kayo sa link na isesend ko dito sa chat box. And then, for those na malilate sa pasok, tapos hindi na umpisahan yung session natin, don't worry kasi recorded naman. Check ko nga, okay. Recorded nga ang ating webinar and pinopost po ng ating magandang si Blessy ang ating ang ating recording sa ating YouTube every Wednesday. Ayan, utol na tayo. So ayan, attendees natin 81 and going up. Welcome
Wow.
everyone and then sana makinig po kayo, wala muna magtatanong about sa attendance ninyo. Okay? Please focus. Kunin ninyo yung mga matututunan ninyo sa ating speaker kasi talagang jump pack ang ituturo niya sa atin ngayon. So, yun lamang. Back to you, Blessing.
Thank you, ma'am. O, totoo yan. Napakaganda ng pag-uusapan natin ngayon. Kaya i-ready nyo yung mga notes nyo, yung mga questions nyo. Kasi yung topic natin yun, lalo ngayon, no, sobrang gamit ang social media, di ba, ma'am? Why not maging part na rin siya ng work natin, di ba? Or kung,
Yes.
oo. Sino ba dito yung first time? Malaman lang natin. Sino ba yung first time? Pwede mong mag-react ng wow. Yan sa may react button. Click nyo dyan yung nakagano, no?
Ayun na, lumilipad na ang wow reaction.
Wow, ang daming first timers. As in, first time nyo lang naka-attend dito sa free webinar ng VAME. Wow, ang dami. Hello, welcome. Welcome sa mga first timers. Grabe. Ayan. So, sana hindi ito yung
Yan, yung para may first time, ibig sabihin nadadagdagan tayo ng viewers, nadadagdagan tayo
yes.
ng attendees.
Oo. Sana hindi ito yung first or last. Sana ito yung start ng journey mo as a virtual assistant or as a social media marketer. Nakita nyo naman, di ba? Ang ganda ng pag-uusapan natin. So, siguro wag na natin tong patagalin. Simulan na natin agad-agad yung topic natin for today at ano na natin, introduce na natin sino ba yung guest speaker natin for today. So, ayan guys, welcome po sa lahat at ang speaker po natin ngayon ay meron lang naman na 3 years of experience. Imagine that experience. 3 years sa pagiging isang social media marketer. And ang kanyang journey ay sobrang inspiring. So, I'm sure maraming makaka-relate sa kanya, lalo sa mga aspiring, sa mga beginners dahil yung journey niya talagang nagsimula siya sa sales, napunta siya sa social media management, hanggang sa na-promote siya as from team member to creative director. So, imagine that jump ng rank sa pagiging social media manager. And doon mo makikita yung proven ng ability niya na para mag-lead at maging innovative. So, yung ating speaker for today ay na-manage na magkaroon ng 20 clients. Wow! And
Oh,
na matulungan yung bawat businesses na yon sa kanilang social media presence hanggang sa makapag-generate na rin ng significant revenue from that businesses. So iba't ibang klase, iba't ibang type ng businesses na ang na-handle niya. At ito pa guys, nakapag-work na rin siya or nagkaroon siya ng privilege na makapag-work doon sa mga big names and individuals. Kung kilala niyo po si Tony Robbins, si Dean Graziosi, and Clint Eastwood. So grabe, big time ang mga hinahawakan ng guest natin for today. Kaya beyond doon sa client work na ginagawa niya, yung dedication niya sa pagtitraining kanyang team to stay ahead in this ever-evolving industry which is the social media management set her apart as a true leader. So wag na nating patagalin. Please join me in welcoming our beautiful, gorgeous, amazing speaker for today, Miss Sai Ferrer. Come on guys, palakpakan naman natin yung speaker natin.
ayan.
Hello, heart
Hello,
heart.
Sai.
Hello.
Hi,
Yes.
Bakit
Miss
hindi nabanggit
Sai.
yung sexy? Charot.
Ay, sayang. Sorry, sorry.
Tignan nyo,
Welcome.
batang-bata pa, tapos naka-help na ng 20 clients in 3 years. See?
Wow.
Oh.
Grabe. Ma'am, pwede bang makapag-share ng konti lang story, backstory kung paano mo nasimulan itong pagiging isang social media marketer?
To be honest, I didn't really expect to be in this industry kasi nung una, kasi I started when I was 16. I'm 19 ngayon.
Ah.
Yeah, 19 ako ngayon. And I just got recruited by a friend. Tapos parang I got into sales, ganon. Maswerte lang kasi when I first got into the industry, I was recruited by an agency. Tapos ang gandang head start kasi ang daming free trainings and kahit na parang you start small, parang it's not the money din eh. Parang it's the learning and the growth that you get
Yeah.
from them.
Yeah, agree. Grabe, 19 years old. 16 ka
Oo.
nagsimula. Di
Oh,
ba?
Ate Blessing.
Nakaka-inspire.
Nakaka-inspire, di ba?
Oo, di ba? At a young age ay nadali na niya agad ang 20 clients. Grabe. Ayan, sige, wag na nating patagalin. The floor is yours, Miss Sai. So you may now share your screen.
Yay. Thank you very much. Just gonna share my screen. Okay. Can you guys see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes po.
Thank you. Okay. Alrighty. So, hi everyone. Welcome and thank you so much for being here today. Sana nga umabot kayo hanggang dulo kasi we are going to discuss a lot of topics about social media marketing. Okay, so now I know some of you might already be familiar with what I'm going to talk about today, but sometimes um, we need to be reminded more than we need to be taught. So let's just keep that in mind while we dive into the discussion. Okay, so The topics we'll be covering for today are number one, social media managing versus social media marketing. Number two, how to effectively run an event campaign. Number three, big domino statement. Number four, three core false beliefs. Number five, phases of a campaign. Six, formula to virality. Seven, the principle of sales, which is the pain and pleasure. And then lastly is the law of sequencing. All right. So let's get started with social media managing versus social media marketing. So sometimes medyo mahirap ano yung difference between social media management and social media marketing. A lot of people confuse the two because they seem to overlap, but actually they serve different purposes. So understanding this difference is super important kung gusto mo talagang mas maging effective yung strategies mo as a social media specialist. Okay? So, once you get the distinction, you can approach your social media efforts in a way na mas maximize mo yung engagements and yung results. Okay. Now here's a side by side of the two that will show you like a difference between the two. So first, think of social media management as the foundation of your brand's presence. So in social media management, it focuses more on building and nurturing relationships with your audience. It's about consistently posting content, responding to comments, and keeping your social media active and engaging. So this is where you build trust and loyalty with your followers, making sure they stay engaged with your brand over time. On the other hand, we will see social media marketing. So, social media marketing naman is all about achieving specific business goals. Like, for example, driving sales, increasing leads, or growing brand awareness. So, it also involves strategic campaigns, whether paid or organic, that are designed to bring results. So, while social media management focuses on building the relationship, social media marketing is about leveraging that relationship that you built to get concrete outcomes. So, knowing the difference between these two is very important because if you mix them up, you might end up wasting time and resources. Okay? Okay. So let's discuss further naman the specific details and breakdown of each as well as the key responsibilities. So as I've mentioned earlier, social media management refers to the day-to-day activities involved in maintaining and growing a brand's presence on social media platforms. Ayun nga yung mga na-mention ko earlier, yung pag-post, pag-respond sa comments, ganon. The key responsibilities it involves are content creation, which is yung planning, designing, and posting ng content, community management, yung pag-interact sa followers, pag-respond sa comments, pag-answer ng DMs, etc., etc. Reporting. So this one is very important along with the analytics review kasi dito mo malalaman what's working and what's not working. So your content strategy should be based mostly sa analytics kasi numbers tells you something. Numbers are real. Okay? And then reputation management. So you're gonna be addressing both positive and negative feedback, resolving customer service issues, and maintaining a positive brand image. So those are the key responsibilities na sa ilalim ng social media management. So why is social media management important? So number one, see consistency. Regular posting helps keep the brand top of mind for followers and ensures that content is seen consistently. So kapag consistent kang may post, mas nakikita ka ng mga followers mo and mas napupunta sa taas yung content mo. And then audience engagement. So actively interacting with followers can improve relationships, build community, loyalty, and increase overall engagement. Next is brand voice. Managing your brand social presence ensures that the tone and voice remain consistent across posts, providing a clear identity. Problem solving. Addressing issues and responding to customer inquiries promptly can help prevent public relations problems. So, very important siya kasi may iwasan mong makancel yung client mo sa social media. If alam niyo yung cancel culture, very, ano siya, uh, global, yeah, very wide siya globally. Next naman, let's talk about social media marketing even deeper. Um, okay, so social media marketing, on the other hand, naman, is a broader strategy that focuses on using social media platforms to promote a brand, product, or service in order to increase sales or build awareness or achieve specific marketing objectives. So kanina, kung napansin nyo, yung social media managing is just like being more consistent with posting para lang ma-increase yung brand awareness, ganun, para lang mas maging visible ka sa followers mo. While sa social media marketing naman, the main goal is to increase sales. So the key responsibilities are advertising campaigns, yung pag-create ng paid ads, and like kahit organic campaigns sa platforms like FB, IG, TikTok, Twitter, etc., etc. And then content strategy, influencer partnerships, ito yung mga collabs, could be collabs with influencers para ma-expand mo yung reach ng client mo. And then, campaign analysis. So, kanina sa social media managing, yung analytics mo, ginagamit mo siya para magkaroon ka pa ng mas maraming followers, gano'n. Dito naman, gagamitin mo yung yung analytics mo para malaman mo kung ano yung offer or kung ano yung strategy ng pag-sell through social media na pinaka nagsisell sa audience, na pinaka gumagana. Okay. Next is promotions and giveaways, running contests, giveaways, or promotional offers, SEO and hashtag. So this is very important with the two, pero nilagay ko siya sa marketing kasi I believe mas nagagamit siya here sa marketing. Um, okay, so next, bakit importante ang social media marketing? So number one, audience reach and growth. Paid campaigns and targeted ads allow you to reach audiences outside your immediate followers, helping grow your brand and increase visibility. Okay, so kung nagma-market ka lang naman and hindi ka nagma-manage ng account, medyo complicated siya and mahirap, to be honest, kasi both of these go hand in hand. Kasi nga, di ba, as I've said earlier, yung social media managing, dun ka nagagather ng audience, dun ka nagagather ng leads. So if may built leads ka na, dun ka naman pwede mag-market. Pero if you decide na gusto mo na mag-market agad, ayaw mo nang i-build yung brand mo, you can use paid ads to um to help like to help reach outside your followers. Okay? And then sales and conversions. So the primary goal of social media marketing is often to drive conversions. Da, 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 da. I've mentioned this earlier. Brand awareness then, and then measurement and optimization. Okay. And then lastly, let's discuss the main differences of the two. So number one is yung focus and yung goal, which is parang na-mention ko naman na earlier. So paulit-ulit na ako here. So social media management focuses on engaging with the audience, maintaining a consistent brand presence, and managing relationships. And then social media marketing naman focuses on using social media as a tool for driving business objectives such as sales leads or brand awareness through paid and organic campaigns. Yung approach naman ni social media management is pura lang siya content creation, scheduling, ganun, interaction, and more on organic siya and ongoing process of maintaining the brand's presence. Tapos, si social media marketing naman is more strategic. May targeted efforts kasi siya na mag-drive ng growth and conversion. So it can involve, ayun nga, paid ads, promotion, optimized campaigns, etc. Then, metrics for success. Ayun, naiiba sila sa metrics ng success. So, yung sa social media management, yung metrics niya, like malalaman mong successful ka in social media managing kapag um, yung engagement mo, yung followers mo, and yung interactions mo sa account is like, it's growing. Well, yung sa social media marketing naman, yung metrics na mame-measure mo is more focused on the ROI, yung conversion rates, leads, sales, and the effectiveness of specific campaigns. Okay? And then it also differs sa tools. So social media management often involves scheduling tools like yung Hootsuite, Buffer. I think parang most of you guys kapag nag-start na kayo, ma-encounter niyo sila or na-encounter niyo na sila. Um, Social media marketing naman is more on ayun nga, the ads, like Facebook ads, TikTok ads, tapos yung mga A/B testing tools, kung marunong kayo mag-funnels, pwede din kayo gumamit ng Funnelytics and Go High Level. Yan. Okay, so how do they work together? So once you manage your social media well, which is the social media managing part, meron ka na ngayong community na invested na sa brand mo. So mas magiging madali na for you to run effective marketing campaigns. So for example, if you know that your followers engage a lot with educational content, you can use that insight or information na mag-run ng targeted ads or promotions na based dun sa content na gusto nila. Like, for example nga, yung educational content. So, social media management isn't just about like posting regularly. It's also about collecting data on what your audience likes and what works. So, ayun nga, kagaya na sabi ko kanina, it goes hand in hand. Right? So, parang social media management, yung mga analytics na makukuha mo doon, pwede mo pa rin siyang magamit kapag nag-market ka na. So, yung mga information na nakuha mo sa social media management, kinukuha mo siya sa social media marketing and ginagamit mo siya para mag-craft ng campaigns na mag-speak directly to the needs and preferences of your audience. Yeah, to end this, let's answer why is it really important to know the difference. So why is it really important to know the difference? So understanding the distinction between social media market management and marketing allows you to strategize more effectively. So when you have a clear idea of what each role involves, you can decide kung saan mo mas ifo-focus yung time and yung resources mo. And then social media management builds the audience, and then social media marketing turns that audience into actual business results, as I mentioned earlier. So, mga benefits that I can give, ayun nga, better resource allocation, mas malaman mo saan i-focus yung resources mo, clearer performance metrics, mas mame-measure mo yung success ng both areas separately, and then better audience experience din. Kasi kapag binalance mo both, you can create content na mas relevant sa audience mo while also pushing them toward taking specific actions. Okay? So I think it's pretty clear na to you guys what is the difference between the two. So let's move on to the next topic. Okay. Why is it important to know how to run a campaign effectively? So, running an event campaign is not just about selling a product or promoting a service. At its core, it's about helping people. So, ang gusto ko sanang i-indoctrinate sa inyong lahat na nanonood is that kapag, kunwari, may client kayo and may gusto silang ibenta na product, sana ang mindset natin is that hindi lang kayo nagbebenta ng product, but you're also like helping people. Okay, so for example, nagpo-promote ka ng health course, ng business seminar, or like nagpo-product launch ka, dapat laging yung end goal mo is to provide value that can make a real difference in your audience's life. So for example nga, nagsisell ka ng course, pag nabenta mo yung course na yon, hindi mo lang nabigyan ng pera or ng sales yung client mo, na-improve mo rin yung yung health and well-being nung pinagbentahan mo, which can potentially transform their life. Okay? So now the next things I'm going to teach you are going to help you run a campaign effectively. So the first thing is the big domino statement. So you guys can screenshot this if you want. You can take notes. Pero here is the the template na pwede niyong gamitin. So this new opportunity is the key to their desire and is obtainable only through this new mechanism. So ano ba ibig sabihin nito? So eto, naglagay ako dito ng example kung paano ba ginagamit yung big domino statement. So yung big domino statement kasi ginagamit natin siya as a guide dun sa pag nagma-market ka na. So this is already social media marketing, okay? So before ka mag-market, kailangan mo munang sagutan tong template na to na nilagay ko dito. Dito, parang ito yung magsiserve as guide mo sa buong campaign mo. Okay? So every campaign has a different big domino statement. Okay, so for example, health client yung account mo or yung health yung industry ng client mo. Okay? So, pwede siyang magkaroon ng iba't ibang offers. Pwede siyang magbenta ng cookbook, pwede siyang magbenta ng seminars, ng coaching, etc., etc. So, bawat offer na yon magkakaroon siya ng iba't ibang big domino statement kasi iba-iba yung desire nila, iba-iba yung pain point na tina-target nila. Okay? So, ayun nga, gamitin natin yung example dito. Yung new opportunity, ito yung example niya, a live webinar on how to overcome stress and boost mental health. And then yung desire na pwede mong, example of a desire is like to achieve a healthier, less stressful lifestyle and gain control over their mental well-being. And then the new mechanism is the webinar itself, which provides expert strategies, practical exercises, and real-life solutions for managing stress and improving mental health. So, kapag nilagay mo na siya dun sa template na nilagay ko here, magiging ganito siya. This live webinar is the key to unlocking a healthier, less stressful lifestyle, and the only way to achieve this transformation is through the proven techniques and strategies we'll be sharing during the event. Okay? So, kapag finrame mo yung offer mo sa gantong paraan, you're not just promoting an event. You're actually offering a new opportunity para sa audience mo to achieve their desired outcome. And you're showing them that the event or like yung offer ng client mo is like the only way para ma-achieve nila yung desire nila, which makes the offer more irresistible and meaningful because it ties directly to the audience's core desires. Okay. Now, here are 10 questions to help you write your big domino statement and figure out your audience as well. So, kapag sinagot mo to, itong 10 questions na to, mas magigets mo kung para saan ba yung campaign, ano ba yung tina-target mo, ganon. Parang, ito yung, tawag dito, ito yung 10 questions na hinahanap ng audiences mo usually. So, pwede niyong screenshot to, tapos pwede niyong gamiting guide kapag, kunwari, may job kayo na social media marketing, ganun. So, number one, how is this unique? So, meron ka lang few seconds to grab someone's attention sa copy mo. Okay, dun sa text na nakasulat sa post mo, ganun. So, showing something that is unique is one way to grab someone's attention. So, something in our brain lights up when we see something new. Our brains are wired to pay attention to something new. So, you have to show something unique. Okay, and then next question is, what's in it for me? So nobody cares about you, okay? About your things. People only cares about their selves, about their things, okay? So focus on their interests and desire. So focus on their, hindi not yours ha. Focus on their interest and desire and then answer this question right in the beginning and make a specific promise. So ano ba yung para sa audience mo? Like what's in it for them? Okay? And then by this time, kapag nasagot mo na yung dalawa na yon, by this time, you already have their attention, but they are still skeptical. So, let's proceed to question 3. How do I know if this is real? So, ang daming audience na iniisip nila na, ay, scam to, ganyan, ganyan. So, pwede mong gawing example na content for this or like testimonials, mga third-party quotes or like reliable sources. Pero yung pinaka-favorite ko is yung testimonials. So if you can get testimonials sa client mo, mas okay siya kasi proof is also copy. So once you start showing proof, you cannot be boring. Kasi for example, ako, mayroon akong client in the health industry. So kapag nag-post ako ng testimonial na I lost 35 kilograms in 2 weeks, parang, wow, ano, parang, oh nga, this person lost 35 kilograms in 2 weeks. Legit nga siya, legit siya. So parang it pushes them to believe na legit nga yung client mo and effective yung ino-offer niya. And then, okay, number four, what's holding me back? So this is where the magic happens. So show the reader or prospect the real problem that's holding them back. So yung magic conversion formula dito is the real problem plus the real mechanism is equals to hope. So once you give people hope in your copy, it's very likely that they will buy your product. So how do you find the real problem? So you have to reverse engineer answer to question number one. How is this unique? So why you're not making the money you want is because you've been taught to focus on helping anyone and closing low ticket premium cases as an example. So for example, yung problem ng client ko is parang hindi siya nagme-make ng money kasi naturuan lang siya sa agency nila na ito, ganito, kumuha ng low ticket na ano. I mean, what I meant by low ticket premium cases is yung mga mabababang offers na mga mumurahin. Ganun. So, for example, life agent ka, naturuan ka lang magbenta ng mga mura na offers sa agency nyo. So, gusto mo ngayon kumita ng pera, pero hindi mo kaya kasi nga, very mura lang yung binebenta mo. So, pwede mong i-connect yon sa offer mo. Like, yung dahilan, I mean yung problem mo, tapos yung dahilan ng problem nila is kasi hindi nila tinitake yung course mo. Okay? So, ayun nga, mentioned ko that why you're not making the money you want is because you've been taught to focus on helping anyone um, and closing low ticket premium cases. And then next, five, who or what's to blame. So make your prospect feel like they're part of a special group. So parang meron kayong common enemy, pero you cannot make up an enemy. It has to be someone or a situation they already believe. So for example, it can be the government, can be the IRS, can be Wall Street, the media, ano pa ba, FDA, big pharma, ayun, etc., etc. And then, why now? So, bakit ngayon? People are not gonna act just because that's the way we are. You must give people a reason to act right now. So, kailangan mo mag-create ng agency sa copy mo. So, pwede mong gamitin yung either or fallacy. So, kasi when you make people believe they either act now or something's bad gonna happen, they usually take action. So, for example, for example, if you're in school, parang pag sinabi ng prof mo, 'di ba, parang ipasa mo to ngayon or else ibabagsak kita. 'Di ba, parang you've been given the urgency para gawin na yun ngayon para hindi ka bumagsak. And then next is why should I trust you? So this is already the credibility section of the copy. So this is not a resume. So do not write a resume because resumes are boring. So you should create a three storyline. So number one is the expert. So tell your past accomplishments, get people to believe na parang, this person really knows what they're talking about. Expert siya. Ganon. Next is the Robin Hood. You're gonna steal from the rich and give it to the poor. So parang ito yung storyline na pwede mo magamit. For example, when someone used to be on the inside and then they left a secret and now they are sharing the secret with everyday folks. So for example, if may nakikita kayong content sa TikTok or sa Twitter or sa Facebook, ganyan, na parang I used to be an employee sa Starbucks, tapos they fired me, so I'm sharing you all the secrets. Parang ganon. Okay. Next is I've been in your shoes. So parang itatel mo yung story kung paano ka napunta na sa shoes nila. Parang same place kayo before dun sa reader. And then the reader will look at you now and think like, they used to be just like me. They already face the same challenges I'm facing right now, and they already found a solution. So, parang it will save them time kasi parang naranasan mo na eh. Parang ibibigay mo na lang sa kanila yung shortcut kung paano ma-solve yun. So, it's very relatable kasi nga, ginagamit mo yung same problem na meron sila, tapos you're gonna give the solution to the same problem that they are experiencing. And then, ayan na-stop tayo sa 7 questions. So, after answering the first 7 questions, those questions are the emotional sale. If done correctly, they should be solved by now. So, kapag nasagot mo na yung lahat hanggang 7, parang nasell mo na agad yung audience. So, after that, you're just gonna have to give them logical reasons to use to rationalize their decisions. So, parang ayun na nga, nasagot mo na yung 7 questions. Meaning, parang na-persuade mo na sila. Pero, meron pa tayong last 3 questions para mabigyan sila ng last push. So, ito na yung magiging logical reason kung bakit nila bibilin yung offer mo. Okay? So, number 8 is how does it work? So, kailangan mong magbigay ng proof or explanation dun sa mechanism or like how your offer works. So, like for example, what's behind the mechanism? Okay? For example niya sa health industry, pwede mong i-explain kung paano nag-work yung herbs, and you can also show proof scientific studies na, ayun nga, kung paano sila nag-work inside our bodies. And then 9, how can I get started? So at this point, your audience is already ready to buy. So this is already the offer section. So maraming way na ma-structure mo to. So the basic way you can do this is parang magre-reveal ka ng special report. So pwede mong sabihin, I put all these secrets inside these special report. It's yours for free once you subscribe to this service. So and then introduce mo na yung service mo and then explain mo how it works. And then you can show testimonials, what others are saying about this service, then have a false close. This is when you say something like, others paid $10,000 for this, but today it's gonna cost you anywhere near that. Okay, I'll tell you details in just a moment, but first I'm gonna give you some actual reports. So wag mo muna i-reveal yung price mo. Keep moving on. Then move on to the bonus report or gifts. Then review the final price of the value stack. So when you show everything that you're gonna get with the value, add them up. So cut the value and show the final price. So meaning nito, for example, yung course na binibenta mo para sa client mo, ano siya, weight loss na na course. So it includes yung yung dieting, yung workout, ganun. So kapag binili mo siya isa-isa, parang 'di ba magko-cost siya ng iba-ibang prices. So gagawin mo here, i-add mo yung mga prices na yon. Tapos kunwari, the total is let's say $10,000. So ikakat mo ngayon siya, parang makita nila, oo nga, kapag binili ko to isa-isa sa iba, $10,000 yung magiging total cost ko. Pero pag binili ko to sa kanya, say, $200 lang yung babayaran ko. So, parang kape, 3-in-1, mabibili mo na siya ng isahan lang. Ganun. And then, offer a guarantee, parang risk reversal. So, parang, if very confident, pero this one, kailangan mo tong kausapin yung client mo for this. Kasi you can offer a guarantee na pag hindi siya nag-work sa'yo, ibabalik ko pera mo. Parang ganun. Money back guarantee. Kaya parang ano rin yun, nagpo-push din sila na maniwala na, okay, legit nga kasi very confident siya sa offer niya. And then lastly, what do I have to lose? So you want to remind them that if they do not act, nothing's gonna change. So their lives will remain the same. Pero you have to be careful here because usually copywriters or like let's say social media specialists become too desperate for the sale and become too needy, and you cannot be needy. Okay, bawal kang maging desperate sa kanila. Nobody likes anybody who is needy, so be careful at the closing of the sales kasi ayaw mong mag-sound as parang desperado ka na makakuha ng sale. So, technique number one mo dito, yung pwede mong gamitin is yung push and pull. So, when you first push them away and then pull them back in, ayun yung push and pull. So, one way to push them away is just by giving them a reason why maybe this is not right for them. So, after all you wrote in the copy, how great this is, how effective this is, how you're confident about this offer, you're gonna tell them, maybe this is not for you. So, it makes the other person feel like, oh, this guy's not trying to sell me hard and he's not desperate for this sale. Then, pull them back in by telling them, like, what do you have to lose, right? And then, technique number two naman, meron kang three classic options na pwede mong gawin. Number one, do nothing. Number two, do it yourself. And then number three, let me do it for you. So, the key here is to just explain what the options are and then let them decide. So, kapag number one, ulitin ko, do nothing. Number two, do it yourself. Number three, let me do it for you. I-explain mo lang sa kanila, like for example, number one, do nothing. Ano bang mangyayari kapag wala kang ginawa? For example, if you don't, yun nga, kapag nagbebenta ka ng health course, for example, kapag wala kang ginawa, you're just gonna stay, sorry for the word, let's say like overweight yung audience mo. So you're gonna say like, okay, you're just gonna stay unhealthy, overweight, gano'n, you're just gonna stay with a unhealthy lifestyle. And then number two, when you do it yourself, parang pwede mong sabihin sa kanila na, okay, kapag ba ginawa mo to by yourself, do you think it will be as effective? Kasi wala naman silang expertise, for example, sa health, wala silang background doon. And like not everything in Google is accurate. And then number three, let me do it for you. Okay? Um, so you don't want to try to convince them na i-pick yung option three, which is to work with you. So i-explain mo lang what the three options are and then let them decide, because that way you're not gonna come across too needy. So parang you're just gonna make the person think na, parang mas kailangan ko siya kaysa sa kailangan niya ako. Right? So those are the 10 questions, and feel free to screenshot it. And yeah, I hope you're taking notes dun sa mga strategies na na-mention ko about these 10 questions, kasi you cannot really get that anywhere. I've learned that, what do you call this? I've learned that from the years that I am working. So, ayun yung mga strategies na ginagamit ko usually to answer these 10 questions. Okay, now let's move on to the three core false beliefs. So ano-ano nga ba to? So the three core false beliefs are opportunity vehicle belief, internal belief, and then external belief. So here are three core false beliefs na nag-stop sa people from attending your event or like buying your offer. And then I'm going to teach you how to overcome them. So yung audience mo, meron silang mga false beliefs that prevent them from seeing the value of your event. So kapag di mo siya in-address, hindi sila bibili or hindi sila magsa-sign up. So here is how to shift their mindset so they see your event as the solution they need. So let's discuss them one by one. So okay, number one is the opportunity vehicle belief. So naglagay ako ng examples dito, pero let's read the definition muna. Okay, this belief is about whether your method or approach is the right way to get results. So kapag if they don't believe in the method, they won't see the value in the event. So an old belief can be, you need medicine to feel better and healthier. And then yung new belief na gusto mong i-indoctrinate sa kanila is, kapag nag-change ka ng lifestyle, mag-heal ka. Hindi mo kailangan ng medicines. Okay? So kapag, for example, your event is about weight loss through mindful eating, but your audience believes that the only way to lose weight is through strict dieting and intense workouts, since they don't believe your methods work, they ignore your event. So ma-overcome mo siya kapag nag-show ka ng proof that your method works. So pwede kang mag-show dito ng testimonials, case studies, or scientific evidence to prove that your approach is a better and more sustainable actions. Kasi 'di ba, without evidence, everything you're saying is just opinion. Pero kapag meron kang supporting details, which is yung ayun nga, testimonials, case studies, scientific evidences, mas kapani-paniwala yung offer mo. Okay? So, ano nga ba yung pinagkaiba ng testimonials and case studies? So, yung testimonials, if you guys don't know yet, ayun yung mga hinihingi ng client nyo sa clients nila. For example, yung client ko, let's say, nasa health industry siya, parang, ayun nga, gamitin natin yung example kanina na parang yung client niya nag-lose ng 35 kilograms in 2 weeks. So, sasabihin niya sa client niya, hey, can you film your journey with me kung paano ka nag-lose ng 35 kilograms in 2 weeks? So, parang ngayon, pwede mo yung i-post sa social media mo, ganun. Tapos, ayun yung tinatawag na testimonials. Tapos, yung pinagkaiba naman niya sa case study, parehong story siya. So, it's still the story of the 35 kilograms lost in 2 weeks. Pero, this time, hindi yung ng client mo yung magkukwento. Yung client mo mismo yung magkukwento. So parang for example, ako yung client mo. Parang sabihin ko, this person, Blessy, lost 35 kilograms in just 2 weeks. Parang ganun. Tas, this is how she achieved that. Ganyan, ganyan. So that is the case study. Testimonials, yung mismong tao mismo, and then yung case study is yung client mo, which is yung nagbenta ng offer. Okay, I hope that makes sense. And then internal belief naman, this belief is about self-doubt. So, even if they believe sa method mo na gumagana yung method mo, parang here naman, sa false belief na to, iniisip nila na hindi nila kayang gawin. So, parang yung example dito, only naturally talented people can learn how to sing. Pero, yung totoo, anyone can improve their singing with the right techniques and practice. So, by the way, guys, this old belief, ito yung mga belief currently ng mga targeted customers nyo, while the new belief is yung mga belief na gusto mong i-indoctrinate sa kanila. So kapag successfully na-indoctrinate mo yung mga new beliefs na yan, naniwala sila dyan, mas malaki yung chance na bibilin nila yung ino-offer mo. Okay? And then, ayun, one more example dito sa internal belief. For example, you're hosting a workshop on launching a successful freelance business. Pero someone thinks na, I'm not confident enough to be my own boss. Parang even if the strategies work for others, they won't work for me kasi I'm not smart enough, ganyan-ganyan, ang daming confidence, like self-doubts, etc., etc. And then, paano mo siya ma-overcome? I-empower mo sila by sharing success stories of people like them who once doubted themselves but still achieve results. So, parang for example, for example, our beginners, parang hindi nyo alam where to start. Parang, look at me. I started when I was 16 and I'm 19 right now. Pero, I managed to climb my way sa industry without any prior experience when I started. So parang mas may imagine mo like, okay, possible nga na, pwede pala yun, gano'n. Kaya ko rin pala. Kasi kung kaya niya nga, edi kaya ko din. Parang that's how you can, uh, what do you call this? That's how you can tackle the internal false belief nila. Okay. And then lastly is the external belief naman. So this belief is about outside barriers. So people think they cannot attend because of time, money, resources, ganon. So an old belief, yung example is you need a lot of money to start a business. Pero a new belief is you can start a business with little to no money by leveraging free tools and smart strategies. Like for example, if you're yung old belief mo, like para makapag-start ka as a VA, kailangan mong bumili ng mga courses, ganyan. Kailangan mo ng sobrang high-end na PC, na computer, na laptop. Kailangan mo ng magandang cellphone, ganyan. Pero, yung new belief na pwedeng i-imply sa'yo para masell ka ng pwedeng tumatarget sa'yo na, ano, is like, hindi, may mga free webinars naman, ang dami-dami sa YouTube or pwede kang mag-start sa agency kahit mababa yung sahod nila. Kasi, yung nakukuha mo doon, yung importante doon, hindi yung money. Usually, it's the growth and the learnings, kagaya ng sinabi ko kanina. So, ayun yung sa external belief. Like, money is not a problem. So, it's just like, so these three core false beliefs, yung mga parang reasons or alibis ng audience mo kung bakit hindi sila nagsa-sign up or bumibili ng ino-offer mo. So, ayun. Kapag natakal mo yung lahat, na-change mo yung belief nila, mas malaki yung chance na, ayun nga, nabibili nila yung offer mo. Okay. And then next, this is more on the technicalities na sa social media marketing. Yung mga minention or tinuro ko kanina is more on the psychological side or kung paano ka magagawa ng content. So, kapag nagagawa ka kasi ng content, kailangan mong masagot muna yung lahat. Hindi ka pwedeng like, okay, binibenta ko to. Gagawa ako ng graphic, tapos popost ko to. Like, okay, binibenta ko to, bilin mo na ngayon. Hindi pwedeng ganun. It's not gonna be effective. So, pero kapag, ayun nga, na-apply mo yung mga minention ko earlier, mas malaki yung chance na mas magiging effective yung campaign mo or yung pagbebenta mo para sa client mo. And before I forget, meron, if you guys don't know, meron din na kunwari may mga VA kagaya ko, or if you call yourselves like social media specialist ganun, or whatever you call yourself, pwede tayo magkaroon ng commission-based structure sa clients natin. So for example, ayun yung, kaya favorite ko yung social media marketing, yung pagbebenta more than social media managing. Kasi here, mas maraming money-making opportunities. So for example, client mo is like very big sa industry na. Let's say client mo si Tony Robbins. Sige. So parang si Tony Robbins, meron siyang $50K na offer. So kapag nag-deal ka sa kanya na, okay, i-market ko tong offer mo, pero kapag nakabenta ko, meron akong specific percentage dito sa offer mo. So that's what I do. And like for example, ayun, kahit na makabenta ka na ng isang $50,000 na offer, magkano na yan, right? Kahit pa sabihin natin 5% or 10% lang yung commission mo doon. Right? So, ayun, that's one more opportunity you guys can do, pero you have to master the psychological and then the technical side of social media marketing. So, ayun, sorry for the commercial break na yun. Let's discuss na the phases of a campaign, which is the technical side. So social media marketing is often seen as a random and inconsistent. Pero by following this structured framework, itong phases of a campaign nga na ituturo ko sa inyo, mas madadalian ka kasi pwede mo siyang gawing guide while you are marketing. So, here are the phases of a campaign. So, number one, nurture, priming, launch, promo, and then post-event. So, it's a framework na commonly used sa email marketing, if you are familiar with that. Pero the same principles can be adopted to social media for more effective engagement, anticipation, and sales. So now I'm going to show you a detailed breakdown of each phase, including why each step is important, how it benefits your strategy, and an exact timeline kung saan mo siya pwede ipasok sa content calendar mo. Like, kunwari, kailan ba ginagawa yung nurture phase, ganon. Okay. Okay, now let's start with nurture phase. So timeline nito, nurture phase is yung parang 4 to 8 weeks before the launch. So parang very malayo pa siya sa mismong launch ng product mo. You have to build rapport muna, ibig sabihin lang nun. Kasi if you immediately start promoting an offer without first nurturing your audience, they won't be emotionally invested and your sales will be much lower. So parang this phase is about relationship building lang with your audience and like providing value so that when the time comes to sell, your audience is already interested and engaged. So kapag hindi ka nag-nurture, yung content mo, mag-feel siya as transactional rather than relational. So imbis na makarelate yung audience mo dun sa binibenta mo, mas iniisip nila na binibentahan mo lang sila. Ganon. This will make people less likely to engage with your brand, and social media algorithms also prioritize engagement. So if you don't consistently interact with your audience beforehand, your promotional posts will likely to get low reach. So, ayun nga yung mention ko kanina kung ba't importante yung social media management before social media marketing is kailangan mo munang mag-build ng social media presence para sa algorithm. So, kailangan mo maging consistent. And then, kasabay na nun, nagbe-build ka na rin ng relationship sa audience mo. So, parang ano ka lang dito, bigay ka lang ng bigay. So, parang give, give, give. Parang meron, ano yan psychological uh, reasoning behind that. Parang big give, give, give. Parang nabibuild mo yung, let's say, uh, sa Filipino um, culture, tinatawag siya as utang na loob. So, parang bigay ka lang ng bigay sa kanila. So, parang when the time comes to sell, parang nabuild mo na yung relationship and yung utang na loob nila sa'yo na, okay, binibigyan niya ka ng ganyan-ganyan. Parang you keep coming for more. And then, ayun, why this benefits your brand, yung mga na-mention ko nga kanina, it builds trust with your audience, establish your authority and expertise. This is your chance na ipakilala yung client mo sa targeted audience nila. Tapos, it also increases engagement rates, which boost visibility in algorithms, which makes selling easier later because your audience is already invested, as I mentioned earlier. So, paano mo siya gagamitin sa social media? Ayun, naglagay ako examples dito. Pwede nyo siyang screenshot. For example, ano lang to, yung mga usual content lang. So, parang wala namang very, ano dito, complicated na stuff sa nurturing phase ng campaign. So, pero, meron ka ng end goal in mind na magsisell ka sa dulo. Yun lang yung pinagkaiba. So, social media management, parang, okay, ano lang, post-post lang, ganyan-ganyan. Pero dito, kapag sa social media marketing, yung post-post mo na yon may end goal pa rin siya na mag-sell sa dulo. So, parang nag-involve pa rin siya ng social media management. So, yung tawag nga natin doon is yung nurture phase. So, one example, educational content, teach your audience something useful to position yourself as an authority. So, for example, 5 common dieting myths debunked, engagement-driven content, use polls, Q&A, or interactive posts to encourage conversations. So, what's your biggest skincare concern? So, here naman sa engagement-driven content, which is um, a very crucial content na pwede mong i-post during the nurture phase, yung polls, tsaka yung mga Q&A na pinopost mo, either sa stories or sa feed mo, pwede mo siyang magamit to tailor your product better. So, for example, nag-poll ka, what's your biggest skincare concern? So, parang skincare brand yung client mo. Parang nakita mo dito sa mga poll na to, parang biggest issue nila yung dry skin, ganon. Pero yung binabalak na ibenta ng client mo is para sa acne. So, para makakommunicate mo siya sa client mo and makakapag-strategize kayo better na, hey, I think mas okay if like yung isasell natin na product, yung nagaano ng dry skin kasi ayun yung mas in demand sa audience. Ayun yung pinaka pain point nila. So, ayun. That will also help you get like information kung, ayun, ano yung gusto ng audience mo. And then, storytelling and relatability. So, ayun, mag-share ka lang dito ng personal experience mo para ma-humanize yung brand mo. Kasi, hindi naman pwedeng, like, parang edit ka lang ng edit ng videos and graphics, tapos parang all of them are like talking head reels na parang, okay, this is how you do this is how you do that. Ganun kasi yung mga common na content sa sa Instagram, parang lagi silang nagtuturo, laging educational content. Mas okay if like, meron ding mga authentic na content. Like for example, kahit i-post mo yung family um, ng client mo from time to time, that's okay. Kasi makikita ng audience nila na, okay, it's a real person, ganun. Parang it feels more personal din sa kanila kasi parang they will get to know you as a person, not just like um, someone na binebentahan sila. So another example can be the behind the scenes. Ayan nga, yung for example, I think nakikita niyo to sa TikTok. Ang daming nagaganto. Like yung packing orders for our first 100 customers. Para makikita mo kung ano yung ginagawa nila behind the business. Ganon. Next is the community features and user-generated content, yung mga UGC. So, for example, ayun nga, yung example natin kanina, skincare brand yung, ano mo, yung client mo. So, pwede mong gawin, pwede mong i-repost yung mga tao na gumagamit ng product mo dun sa account mo. So, this way, hindi mo na kailangan magbayad ng mga UGC creators. It's free and if you know the affiliate system sa TikTok, ang daming parang bumibili ng product tapos minamarket nila sa TikTok kasi nagkakaroon sila ng commissions. So pwede kang magpaalam dun. Let's say nagamit nila yung product mo na binebenta nila ganun. Or like binibigyan nila ng um what's the term for that? Parang pinapakita nila sa audience nila yung product mo. So, pwede mo silang i-message, tapos tanungin mo like, hey, can I post your content in my feed? Ganun, ganun. I love this. Ganyan, ganyan. So, ayun, parang libreng UGC. Libreng UGC content. So, di mo na kailangan magbayad. Kasi if you don't know, binabayaran yung mga ganyan, tapos kailangan mo pa mag-create ng script sa kanila. Ganun, tapos kailangan mo pa i-edit. Eh, ayun, edited na. Sila na gumawa ng script nila. Tapos, libre lang. Next phase is the priming phase. So, this is the phase where you're gonna build anticipation na for what's coming. So this begins usually 2 to 3 weeks before the launch. Pero what I usually do, uh ginagawa ko siya like 1 week before the launch. That's my strategy. So, ano ba yung importance ng phase na to? So, kasi anticipation creates desire. So, if you suddenly launch a product without warning, people won't have enough time to process why they need it. However, if you gradually introduce the idea over time, you give them a reason to get excited. So, parang kapag nag-prime ka, ini-establish niya yung mental connection between your audience problems and your upcoming offer. So parang if you are familiar with movie teasers, ayun. Parang 'di ba, bakit ba nire-release muna yung teaser bago i-release yung movie? Kasi 'di ba para mas mabigyan ng context yung audience kung about saan ba yung movie. Like para doon nila bago nila i-watch yung buong movie, doon nila malalaman na okay, interesting tong movie na to based dun sa teasers na nilalabas mo. Okay, so ganun yung priming phase natin para maglalabas ka lang ng teasers. So, yung example nga nito is like yung glimpse of what's coming, yung teaser sneak peeks, like our new collection is launching soon. Can you guess the theme? Ganyan, ganyan. Struggling to grow on Instagram. Stay tuned for a game-changing tool. So this one, the problem awareness content, parang mas kinoconnect mo yung problema or yung pain point ng audience mo sa kung ano yung ilalabas mo pa lang. So parang kumukolekta ka pa lang ng mga tao na potentially interested sa product mo. So for example, ayun, sabi dito, struggling to grow your Instagram, parang may ilalabas ka na magiging solution dun sa problem na yan. And then these are the other examples. You can also screenshot this. And then next is the launch phase. Ito naman, ito na yung launch. Dito mo na i-drop yung product. Kasi 'di ba after nurturing, after being active sa IG, and then after launching, after giving teasers na mai-drop ka, and then dadating na yung launch kung saan i-drop mo na yung product mo. So, how to execute this in social media. So, pwede kang magbigay ng official launch na post. I-state mo doon ano yung in-offer mo, ganun. Tapos kung saan nila ma-access to. For example, buy this skincare product, link in bio. Ayun lang. Simple as that. And then, one more strategy for this is yung live Q&A or demo. So, pwede mo itong gawin, sabihin mo sa client mo like, hey, can you go live for like 15 minutes? Magko-Q&A lang tayo. Parang a-announce mo lang na binibenta mo to. Parang i-announce mo lang yung launch ng product mo, ganyan-ganyan. Tapos, parang makakapagtanong din doon yung mga tao kung saan nila makukuha yun, ganyan, para saan ba yun. And yun din yung chance ng client mo na i-introduce pa ulit sa kanila yung product mo. And then, social proof and testimonials. Ito, very mahalaga to here sa launch phase, yung testimonials. Kasi nag-drop ka na ng product eh. So, kapag may interested sa product mo, they are most likely pumunta sa page ng client mo. Tapos, titignan nila, ano ba to? Parang, ano, sino ba tong nagbebenta? Legit ba to? So, doon nila makikita na, legit nga, may mga testimonials. Parang ito yung kapag bumibili ka sa Facebook or sa say sa TikTok shop or sa Shopee, ganyan. Pag bumibili ka doon, di ba tumitingin ka muna sa reviews? Okay ba to? Ganyan. May mga nagsasabi ba na okay siya? Ganyan. So, ayun yung testimonials. Doon natin siya ginagamit. Ayun yung reason kaya tayo nagpo-post ng ganun. And then, exclusive launch bonuses. So, dito, pwede kang mag-offer ng limited time incentive for early buyers. So, pwede mo rin tong gawin. For example, pwede mo siyang gawin 50% off sa first week. So, kapag ginagamit itong limited time incentive for early buyers usually kapag sobrang layo pa nung event date. For example, hindi product binibenta mo. For example, coaching or webinar yung binibenta mo. Tas ang layo pa niya. So, hindi agad nila magagamit. So, ang one way para ma-push pa rin sila na bumili dun sa offer mo kahit malayo pa is parang mafe-feel nila like, sale to ngayon. Parang kailangan ko na siyang bilhin. Ganyan. Kasi parang gusto ko naman umattend. Tas parang may discount pa ngayon. So, yun na. So, for example, um, sa Shopee pa rin or sa TikTok shop. Pag may nakita ka na ba nagla-live selling, parang sinasabi 50% off to ngayon hanggang ano lang, hanggang this day lang, hanggang 12 midnight lang. Di ba kahit di mo kailangan, usually bumibili ka kasi you believe na parang mas nakakamura ka and magagamit mo rin naman siya in the future. So, ayun. That's the logic behind that. Then next phase is the promo phase. So this is the phase where you drive conversions and create the urgency na. So the promo phase is ito na yung parang pinakamataas na conversions mo kuha mo. Dito, mas pinakamaraming tao na bumibili or nagsasign up dun sa offer mo. So, between the launch and the promo phase kasi, parang medyo matagal pa yan eh. Let's say, 2 weeks ka pang magpo-promote ng product mo. So, parang the launch phase, ayan, na-excite yung mga people, mga people, kanyo, yung mga tao na parang, ayun na yung product, ganyan, I'm gonna buy this, ganyan, tapos may 50% off pa, ganyan, ganyan. Pero pagdating nung parang ano na, nagiging boring na siya. Nagda-die down na yung hype dun sa product mo kasi parang nasanay na sila, okay, binibenta niya yan, ganyan, ganyan. Tapos, eto na, yung 1 to 2 weeks before, I mean after the launch. So ibig sabihin lang neto parang 3 days na lang before yung event or 2 weeks na or like 1 week na lang before magsimula yung event na gagawin mo, ganun. Parang ito na yung last chance nila. So parang ngayon na, limited time offers, yung kagaya ng example dito. So only 3 spots left, ganyan-ganyan. Tapos object handling post, parang kung ano yung mga benefits na makuha nila. Tapos, pwede mo rin, kung product naman yung ano mo, yung offer mo, pwede mong ipakita yung behind the scenes pa din. Parang, papakita mo na, okay, ito na yung mga order nila. Parang, siniship out na namin. Tapos, parang, nagbe-build siya ng FOMO din. If you guys are familiar with FOMO, it means fear of missing out. So, parang, nainggit sila, gano'n. Especially sa mga coaches, gano'n. Kunwari, kapag bumili ka dun sa coaching program ng client mo, ang makukuha mo doon, may libreng sweatshirt, tapos may pangalan mo sa likod. So, parang, magpo-post ka nung mga sweatshirts na nagawa na, tapos isi-ship out mo na. Kasi ayun yung gagamitin nila sa event. So, parang maingit yung iba, hala, gusto ko din yan, ganon. So, ayun yung natin sa behind the scenes. Pero, dito sa promo, ulitin ko lang, it's like 1 week before the event. So, dapat dito, parang, i-hype mo ulit yung event. Dito yung pinakamataas yung sales. Kasi parang dito ka magbibuild ng urgency na bilhin na nila. Kasi parang last na to, hindi ka na makakabili. May makaka-miss out ka. Kasi nga, ito na, parating na yung event. Magsisimula na siya. Right? So, next, phase, the last phase, finally, is the post-event phase. So it's keeping the momentum after the campaign ends. So after ng campaign, kapag kasi matatapos lang yung campaign mo, 'di ba? Kapag nagsimula na yung event. So parang ayun na, end na, hindi ka na magbebenta kasi nagsimula na siya. Wala ka na ibebenta eh. So pero that's wrong. Hindi siya So mali 'yon. Wag mong gagawin 'yon. Kasi hindi doon nag-end yung campaign mo. dapat tuloy-tuloy lang. Kahit matapos yung event, magka-campaign ka pa din. Pero hindi ka na magbebenta ng product. This time, parang, ayun na, yung example nga dito, magbe-build ka na ng FOMO, parang na-miss nila yung opportunity. Parang, ah, pwede mong i-post dito, di ba, nangyari ng event. Pwede kang gumawa ng montage, yung highlights ng event na parang, hala, ang saya-saya nila, ganun, parang ganyan. Tapos pwede ka rin mag-thank you post na, thank you sa 100,000 na umattend. Parang, ay, ang daming umattend, ganyan, ganyan. Parang na-miss out ako, ganyan. Tapos, parang meron ding next step dun sa mga tao na umattend. So, hindi lang dun sa mga nakamiss ng event, pero pati na rin dun sa mga taong umattend ng event. Kasi, di ba, like, okay, tapos yung event, anong next? Di ba, like, goodbye na ba? Ganon, bala ka na sa buhay mo. No, pero you have to keep them warm. Kasi, leads mo na sila. Bumili na sila sa'yo. Meaning, mas mataas yung chance na bibili ulit sila sa'yo. So, you have to keep them warm. Parang, you have to keep them engaged sa content mo. You have to keep them interested. So, ayun, bigyan mo sila ng direction. Like, okay, umattend ka sa ganito, ganito na yung mangyayari next. So, pwede mo dito i-announce din like yung mga future event mo na mangyayari, ganun, pwede na nilang i-anticipate yun here. Okay? So, that is pretty much the phases of a campaign. I hope you guys learned something dito sa phases of a campaign. And sana hindi masyadong mabilis yung pag-discuss ko about this. Pero yeah, let me know na lang later sa Q&A kung may tanong kayo here, then we can go back to it. And then
Alright.
I'ma go back to I'ma go to my next topic. Oh, sorry, I still have something.
Sige. So, tuloy-tuloy ka lang mag-discuss, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Sige, go ahead.
Okay. Thank you. Sorry for the confusion. Um, Next is the formula to virality. This is, I think, the most interesting part of my lesson today. Kasi parang ito yung secret niya kung paano siya nagva-viral. Kasi if you don't know, what do you call this? Ang una kong ginagawa, hindi ako nagmo-market. Ginagawa ko, pinapa-viral ko muna yung client ko para mas madaming leads na pwede mong pagbentahan. Ganun. So, ito, pwede nyo itong screenshot. Ito yung formula to virality na ginagamit ko for my content. Pero, not pero. So, this is the formula to virality. Merong 60 elements that can 10 times your like views and make your content explode. But today, I'm focusing on the most important one, which is the hook. Kasi your hook is everything eh. It's the first 5 seconds that decide like whether people keep watching or scroll away. So, if you nail the hook, parang na-win mo na yung kalahati ng battle. So, let's break it down. So there are 5 key elements of the hook. Okay. So yung 5 key elements ng hook is here. Create curiosity gap, relatability, visual storytelling, and then start in the action and absolutely no kill. So let's start with number one. Okay. So number one is create a curiosity gap. So dito, yung example nito is magko-combine ka ng dalawang bagay na hindi that don't belong together. So for example, parang what do you call this? Parang for example, nagti-teach ka about finance, ganyan. Tinuturuan mo yung audience mo about finance. Tapos habang ginagawa mo yun, nagluluto ka. So parang it doesn't go together, right? Parang ayan yung curiosity gap dito. What else? Ano pa ba examples here sa curiosity gap? I can't think of any examples right now. Pero that's basically it. Kailangan mo lang mag-create ng, parang kailangan mo lang gawin silang curious. Like, ano ba nangyayari here? Ganon. And then, number two is relatability. So, kailangan mo i-unniche yung sarili mo. So, yung iba kasi, kunwari, nag-handle sila ng health account. Tapos, yung niche ng client nila is, let's say, meal preps. Ayun yung binibenta niya, meal preps. So kapag nag-post sila ng content, very niched yung content nila. Like, hindi siya relatable kasi pag pinupush ng IG yung, or like ng any platform yung content mo, mostly sa mga non-followers, parang very broad siya, very general audience siya pinupush. So parang hindi guaranteed na lahat doon. Alam yung meal prep, hindi guaranteed na lahat doon interested sa meal prep. So, ang pwede mong gawin is mag-unniche ka, go more broad, go more general sa ano mo, sa content mo. So, imbes na meal prep yung ipopost mo, ang ipopost mo naman is like something that is more relatable sa fitness industry. So, ayun, imbes na meal prep nga, pwede mong i-post, for example, parang top 5 foods na na ginagamit mo para mag-lose ng weight. So, hindi siya meal prep, pero connected pa rin siya dun sa offer mo. And like, mas maraming audience yung interested dun sa ganun topic kasi nga mas broad siya. So, mas marami kang ma-attract. And then, number 3 is visual storytelling. So, ito naman, ang ibig sabihin lang naman nito, kailangan naiintindihan nila yung content mo without you actually trying to explain it or like making a sound. So, dapat, can be understood without a sound. So, kailangan pag nakita nila na, okay, nagluluto siya. Ganun. Okay, kumuha siya ng chopping board, magluluto siya. Parang alam na agad nila yung nangyayari. So, hindi sila mako-confuse sa kung ano ba yung nangyayari sa content mo. Number 4 is start in the action. So, wag kang mag-start sa video na ina-explain mo kung tungkol saan ba yung video. Kailangan, gawin mo na siya agad. Kasi, if you explain it like, hey guys, in this video, ganyan, ganyan, today I will be doing this. I will be pranking her, ganyan, ganyan. It's gonna be boring. 'Di ba? Pag ikaw nanonood ka rin ng YouTube videos, parang gusto mo ginagawa na nila agad, 'di ba? Ayaw mo na nung ang daming patumpik-tumpik pa na ang daming hanash. Ang dami niyang beating around the bush na ginagawa. And then, number 5, absolutely no chaos. So, wag kang magkakos ng sensory overload kasi kapag na-confuse yung tao, they will scroll. So, very magkaiba guys yung pag-create ng curiosity tsaka yung confusion. Yung curiosity, naiintindihan pa rin dapat nila yung content mo, pero parang they are craving for more, parang na-curious sila. Like, ano bang ginagawa niya, ganyan. Pero alam nila na, ginagawa niya yung like parang nagluluto siya, ganyan. Pero hindi nila alam ano ba yung niluluto mo, ganun. Pero kapag naman na-confuse sila, like, ginagawa nito, parang ganun. Bakit siya, nagtatumbling habang nakabike? Parang ganun. Yung parang, hindi mo talaga magets kung ano ba talaga ginagawa niya. And then, ayun, ang conclusion natin doon is, um don't care about the rest of the video. Don't care about the punchline, the payoff, and then the educational moment. Okay? So what is focus lang sa what is your first five. First five meaning what is your first 5 seconds. Applicable pala to guys sa mga gumagawa ng scripts for their clients kapag nagfi-film ng content. Okay? So, if you have a strong 5 seconds, you have a strong video. So, kapag nakuha mo na sila doon pa lang, parang, ayun na, maganda na yung content mo, you already won. Okay? Kasi, in most platforms, if you get 5 seconds ng watch time, that already counts as a view. So, if you get 100% retention rate ng first 5 seconds mo, so, hindi nila kailangan panoorin ng buo. Pero kapag yung retention rate ng first 5 seconds ng video mo is 100%, um, parang sinasabi niya sa algorithm or sa platform na parang, oh, this video is good, ganyan, this is relatable content. Let's show this to more people. So, ayun na yung first step to going viral. Okay? So, the path to virality is securing a minimum of 206-second views in the first hour. So, meaning nito, if magulo sa inyo, ibig sabihin lang nito, dapat 200 people yung pinanood ng buo yung 6 seconds ng video mo sa unang oras ng pag-post mo. So, kunwari, nag-post ako 5 p.m. So, dapat by 6 p.m., meron akong 200 or more na tao na pinanood at least 6 seconds ng video ko. So, that tells the algorithm na okay, maganda yung content niya, ganun. So um that's the key to going viral. And what do you call this? So, so this just means na kapag na-perfect mo yung hook mo lang, so hook mo lang yung ipa-perfect mo here kasi 6 seconds lang 5 seconds lang. Ibig sabihin, parang ang laking change niya na sa trajectory ng video mo. Okay? Next, tips on how to improve your hook. So, let's here. So tips on how to improve your hook. Same pa rin, create a curiosity gap, start in the action, zero backstory, zero chaos, relatable, understood without a sound. So, yung naiba lang here is yung zero backstory. Um, so, kasi, ano siya, dapat hindi siya, kung gusto mo mag-viral, wag kang magpo-post ng personalized masyado na content na parang sabihin ko, parang pinaliguan ko to si mama kasi ganito siya. Parang ano, like, okay, anong paki ko sa mama mo? Ganon. So, they will scroll kasi parang hindi sila nakaka-relate sa content mo kapag masyadong personalized. Dapat, di magbe-build ka ng content na makaka-relate lahat, hindi lang yung mga followers mo. Kasi, 90% ng audience mo is non-followers. So, parang, kapag, kunwari, kakapost mo lang, yung unang pinupush ng platform sa content mo is non-followers, 90% ng non-followers. So, 10% lang nun yung followers na nakakakita niyan. Pero pag nakita ni IG or ni FB or kahit anong platform na parang ay hindi nag-interact dito sa post niya yung mga non-followers. Parang mas nag-interact yung mga non-followers. Ibig sabihin, hindi relatable yung content mo. Parang mas pupush ka ngayon sa followers mo. Kasi sila lang yung nakakaget sa content mo. So that's the explanation behind number 3, zero backstory. Um, ito naman, tong zero chaos, ulitin ko lang, another explanation for this is parang make it very simple na maiintindihan kahit ng grade 6, ng grade 2, ganyan. Parang maintindihan ng lahat, hindi siya mahirap intindihin. So, ganun siya, para sa lahat siya, pangmasa. And then, next is the golden rule. So, your first 3 seconds must set up an itch that doesn't scratch until the last 3 seconds. So, ito yung key sa para mag-boom talaga yung video mo or like yung content mo para para magkaroon ka ng million views, ganyan, maraming engagements. Kasi ang pinaka tinitignan talaga ng algo is yung watch time ng audience mo sa content mo. So, kapag yung first 3 seconds mo, nag-set na siya ng curiosity gap na uh, parang for example, parang inaabangan na nila agad yon sa video mo. Like, for example, you say na, hey, parang gagawin ko to, ganyan. Tapos, wag mo agad gagawin yung bagay na sinabi mong gagawin mo. Parang, mag-create ka lang ng suspense dun sa video mo, parang hindi mo agad siya gagawin, para magstay sila up until the end. Kung nanonood kayo ng TikTok, ang daming ganito sa TikTok, especially sa ads na parang iniintay nilang maghigante yung bida. Parang sa una papakita, yung hook nila parang inaapi yung bida, ganyan. Tapos yung suspense na parang, tatawagan ko yung dad ko, ganyan, CEO ako, mayaman ako, ganyan, ganyan, pero di sila niniwala. So parang, nagsiset siya ng itch sa'yo na parang, gusto ko panoorin yung dulo, gusto ko siyang makita na mag-take ng revenge para masatisfy yung itch na naset nila sa una. So, ganun yung doon, strategy nila. Kung nakita nyo, lalo sa mga Chinese na ads, yung mga Chinese clips na umaacting ng ganon, ganun yung strategy nila behind that. So, suspense separates good creators from the best. So, you can be a good creator kapag meron kang good hook, ganyan-ganyan, nagkakaroon ka ng good engagements, pero you're gonna be um, one of the best creators kapag kaya mo mag-create ng suspense. So, kasi suspense is very tricky kasi parang dito mo papahabain yung video mo na hindi ka nagiging boring. Kasi kapag ginawa mong napakahaba na parang, ayoko na panoorin, ang haba naman nito, sayang oras ko, di ba? So, kailangan i-keep mo sila na interested pa rin dun sa video mo kahit na may suspense. So, kailangan di ka magiging boring. Okay, oh yeah, here, there's a big difference between confusion and curiosity, as I've mentioned earlier. So, we want them to be curious, not confused, because a confused mind will scroll. Okay, next is the algorithm prioritizes watch time, number of video viewed, and then the number of shares. Okay, so you can screenshot this and serve this, and it can serve as your guide. Next is, here naman is how you can double your engagements. So you can do intentional mistakes, unusual choices, misusing props, and odd behaviors. So para dumami yung mga nagko-comment sa video mo, what you can do, parang pwede mong sabihin sa client mo, parang okay, habang nagsasalita ka, dapat nakabukas yung zipper mo, ganun. So, parang makikita siya ng mga audience mo, like, parang magko-comment sila na, "Hoy, yung zipper mo bukas," ganyan, ganyan. Parang dadami naman yung engagement mo ngayon kasi parang mina-mention nila, ganyan. Ayun nga. So, parang laging napapansin ng tao yung mga mistakes or pag may pangit, ganyan. Pag may parang odd or like unusual dun sa video mo na parang hindi nila nakikita everyday, yun parang pupunahin nila yon. Ayun, kaya minsan, if may makikita kayong mga creators sa Facebook, lalo sa Facebook, parang sinasadya nila na magkamali, parang sinasadya nila na parang madulas, ganyan. Kasi ayun yung hook nila na parang, hala, ganyan, ganito. Parang magko-comment yung mga tao na i-mention yung ginawa niya na kala niya di niya napansin. Parang nagtatanga-tangahan sila, sorry sa word, dun sa content nila para pag-usapan ng tao sa comments. So that's how you can double your engagements. And then, this is my second to the last topic. This is just gonna be very fast. So, before we talk about one of the most powerful principles in sales na pwede mo ring magamit sa content mo, um, I have a question. So, people only take action for two reasons. Can you guys try to guess what are those reasons? Like, I'm gonna open the Q&A. Can you guys guess? Like, kasi people only take actions for two reasons. So, can you guess those two reasons? Sa Q&A, you can input income, sales. Okay, what else? Curiosity, interest, when they are relatable, interest, change and improvement, urgency, anticipation of gain and fear of loss, result, views, there is a need. So, okay. So, those answers are great. Pero the two things the two reasons why people take action is the two P's, pain and pleasure. Okay? So, dalawa lang 'yan kung bakit sila gumagawa ng action. Gusto nilang mapalayo sa pain or gusto nilang mapalapit sa pleasure. So, parang here. So when you're selling something, it's not really about the product or service itself. It's about the problem you're solving or the outcome you're offering. So parang, okay, I want you to think muna. When was the last time ba that you made a big decision? It could be like buying a new gadget, it can be signing up for a course, or even deciding to resign sa ano mo, sa toxic work environment mo, ganyan. So, parang isipin mo, parang yung decision ba na yon, parang driven ba siya na ma-avoid mo yung something painful? O parang driven ka ba, kaya mo ba ginawa yun kasi gusto mong mapalapit sa something pleasurable? Right? So, for example nga, yun nga, you wanna leave a toxic job, it can be like, gusto mong makaalis dun sa toxic job, you're moving away from pain, or gusto mong mapunta sa mas better na job, you're moving towards pleasure, right? So, dalawa lang siya. So, while both pain and pleasure motivate people, mas matimbang yung pain usually. Bakit? Kasi laging ina-avoid ng tao yung discomfort eh. So parang yung gusto mo nang makaalis sa discomfort, parang it feels very urgent. Gusto mo nang mag-take action agad na makaalis doon. Like for example, ang init, ganyan. Ang init sa labas. Parang, di ba gusto mo na nagbibigay siya ng discomfort sa'yo. So, gusto mo na agad pumasok sa loob or gusto mo na ng fan, ng aircon, ganyan. So, para makaalis ka dun sa pain na yon. So, another example is, for example, masakit ipin mo. Dinedelay mo ba magpunta sa dentista? Di ba hindi naman? Kasi nga unbearable na yung pain. Parang pinaprioritize mo na siyang ma-fix over anything else. Yan. Tapos, on the other hand naman, if you want to lose weight, to look good on vacation, which is the pleasure, gusto mo lang mag-look good, um, pwede kang mag-procrastinate pa doon kasi hindi naman siya as urgent as trying to solve something painful, di ba? Hindi ka naman nasasaktan. So, for example, may beach outing kayo in the next 3 months. Ganyan. So, parang sasabihin mo, ay, gusto ko, beach body ako, mag-workout ako, ganyan, ganyan. Pero, hindi mo ginagawa kasi hindi ka naman nasasaktan. It's not painful enough para gawin mo siya agad na parang wala ka ng choice. Pa-prioritize mo siya, di ba? So, yan. Um, next thing. So, paano naman natin siya ma-apply sa sales? So, when you're selling something, ayun nga, here, it's not really about the product or service itself. It's about the problem you're solving or the outcome you're offering, which is the pleasure. So, kahit wala ka sa social media, kahit nasan ka, this one is applicable lalo na sa sales. So, I learned this when I was doing sales, which I am still applying sa kapag gumagawa ko ng content for social media or nagmamarket ako. So, ayun lang, ida-drive mo lang yung people away from pain and then towards pleasure. Okay, now that you know all about pain and pleasure, let's discuss naman how you can use it for social media marketing. Okay, so merong tatlong here. Merong tatlong option na pwede mong magamit na for social media. Number one is addressing the pain. Ayun lang, parang tatargetin mo lang yung pain point nila. So parang ito, example, struggling with stubborn acne, here's the secret to clear glowing skin. Or like, do you feel like your money disappears every month? Let us help you get back on track. So parang mas focus niya is yung problem, right? Yung pain. Pero next naman is offering pleasure. So dito, binibigyan mo sila ng parang visualization na parang, ang ganda nito, parang gusto ko to, ganyan, gusto ko mapunta dito. Imbis na isipin nila yung pain, yung kaninang strategy, yung addressing pain, dito naman, offering pleasure, hinahelp mo sila ma-visualize yung magandang place na pwede nilang puntahan. Tapos, ayan, ginagamit mo siya to drive them. And then lastly, this is the most effective social media content. So, mas maganda if you combine pain and pleasure. So, paano mo ito gagawin? So, you start with the pain, you have to acknowledge it, empathize, and then show your audience you understand what they are going through. And then, you are now going to end with pleasure. So, you are going to help them visualize the solution or result that you can deliver dun sa pleasure. So here's one example nga. Tired of feeling exhausted and unmotivated? Our fitness program will help you regain energy and feel like yourself again. So parang andito yung problem, tapos andito na rin yung solution. So this is like the most effective uh strategy that you can use sa gamit yung pain and pleasure. So yeah, start with the pain and with the pleasure. And then this is my last topic na. So, before I start with my last topic today, let me ask you guys a question. Dun ulit tayo sa Q&A. Okay, where am I? Q&A. Okay. So, my question is, so this may sound silly, but it's going to help you understand the, itong principle na ituturo ko sa inyo. Okay. Oops. Sequencing. So, here. So, here's my question. When you go to the bathroom and you need to pee, like, ano yung unang step na ginagawa nyo? Can you guys put it sa Q&A, please? Bukas ng pinto bago pumasok ng CR. Yeah. Other answers? Nag-excuse. What else? Unzip. Look for CR. So yeah, those are great answers. So, hindi ka naman pwedeng like mag-teleport sa CR, di ba? So, nagme-make sense yung sinabi ni uh Juni. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. So, di ka naman pwedeng mag-teleport sa CR tapos parang biglang or di ka naman pwedeng like, ayun, nahanap mo na yung CR. Parang magwiwiwi ka na agad. Di naman pwede yun, di ba? Kasi you're gonna mess your pants. So, ang gagawin mo is pupunta ka sa CR, maghanap ka ng CR, ganyan. Gagawin mo lahat ng prerequisite muna bago ka makaihi. Tapos, unzip mo yung pants mo, upo ka, tapos iihi ka na. Right? So that's how you pee. That's how you go to the CR. And then, so that should give you an idea na of like what law of sequencing is. So it's just like the sequence. So law of sequencing states that you have to do the right thing in the right order. Okay? So you can, another example would be like baking a cake. So, number one, kailangan mong kuhain yung ingredients, kailangan mong i-mix, kailangan mong i-bake yung batter, kailangan mong palamigin, tapos kailangan mong nang i-frost finally. Pero, now, imagine if like finrost mo agad yung cake bago mo siya i-bake. 'Di ba parang ang epic naman nun. So, ganun yung nangyayari kapag we skip steps or mix up the sequence. So, bakit ba nagmamatter tong law of sequencing sa life, sa sales, and sa marketing? So, pwede mo siyang i-apply. Magbibigay lang ako ng example paano siya ma-apply sa sales tsaka sa marketing, okay? So, kapag kasi nag-skip ka, mawawala na, pag nag-skip ka ng sequence, mawawala na yung attention tsaka yung trust ng audience mo. So, for example, number one, build trust. Before anything else, people need to feel connected to you. Kasi if your audience doesn't trust you, it doesn't matter how great your product or service is. They won't listen. So imagine nyo, nagpunta kayo sa store. Tapos, nagpunta kayo sa SM, ganyan. Tapos may sales person doon, sales lady, ganyan, salesman, na parang pina-pressure ka agad na bumili ng something. 'Di ba parang ang uncomfy naman, especially sa mga girls dito na nagpupunta sa Watsons. Ang daming sales lady doon na parang pina-pressure ka like, parang, hey ma, bili mo to, maganda to, ganyan. So, ang uncomfy niya. And, pero, ang step na gagawin nila dapat is like, they should welcome you muna. Tatanungin ka muna nila, ano ba yung kailangan mo? And then let you explore. Pero, ang ginagawa agad nila, kaya ka nagiging uncomfy kasi parang pinupush ka agad nila na bumili ng something na ino-offer nila. 'Di ba? So, hindi man lang nila in-ask like, ano ba kailangan mo? Kailangan mo ba to? Ganyan. So, hindi ka nila hinayaan mag-explore. So, next naman, step two is you have to identify the pain or desire. So, people buy solutions to their problems or tools to fulfill their dreams. So, before offering your solution, you need to understand their pain or their pleasure goals. So, kailangan mong mag-ask ng questions, kailangan mong makinig, kailangan mong mag-empathize. Kasi kapag nafe-feel ng audience mo na nakikinig ka sa kanila, mas magta-trust sila sa'yo. So, lastly, kailangan mo na mag-present ng solution. So, kapag nakuha mo na yung unang dalawang step, kailangan mo mag-build ng trust or rapport, kailangan mong mag-identify ng pain or desire, and then number three is you present the solution. Kasi, pag hindi mo nakuha yung unang dalawa, magagaya ka dun sa sales lady na parang it will make your audience uncomfy. Kasi, for example, ang problem nila sa acne, tapos binibentahan mo sila ng para sa dry skin. Like, hey, bili mo na to para sa dry skin, ganyan, ganyan. Eh, may acne nga siya. Gusto niya isolve yung acne niya. So, ano gagawin niya sa pang dry skin mo na pinibenta, right? So, you have to do the right thing in the right order. You have to figure out first you have to build trust first, you have to identify the pain, and then lastly, you have to present your solution kapag nakuha mo na yung unang dalawa. Okay? And I want you to remember this. When the sequence is right, people naturally want what you're offering because it feels like the next logical step. So, parang it just makes sense na gawin na yung action na sinasabi mo. Kasi parang, ayun na, parang tinanong ka niya, ano ba yung problema mo? Ano ba kailangan mo? Picture mo, nasa Watson ka, ganyan. Tatanungin ka ng CC, ano ba, hi ma'am, ganyan, ano ba kailangan mo? What's your problem? Tapos sasabihin mo na sa kanya, ano ba hinahanap mo? Tapos kapag nabigay niya na kung ano yung hinahanap mo, bibigyan ka niya ng options, kanya, ito, ganito, ito para dito. So, parang mas nagme-make sense na pumili sa in-offer niya, di ba? Kasi parang nakukuha yung pain point na hinahanap mo, tapos nabibigyan ka rin niya ng solution. So, the law of sequencing might seem simple, pero this is very like powerful. It's incredibly powerful. So, kasi magagamit mo to whether you're in sales, marketing, or kahit sa personal life mo magagamit mo siya. Kasi following the right steps in the right order creates clarity, it builds trust, and leads to action. So, after you leave this meeting, I want you to think about this. Okay? So, where do you think in your business, marketing, or even personal life can you refine the sequence? Like, tingin mo ba may ginagawa kang mali sa order mo? Tingin mo ba, for example, before diving sa client hunting, kailangan mo munang mag-upskill? Right? So, baka kaya hindi ka nakakakuha ng client kasi kailangan mo munang matutunan yung mga things na ganito. Kailangan mo munang i-figure out yung niche mo. Right? So, di ba mahirapan ka kumuha ng client kapag di ka muna nag-upskill? So, isipin nyo guys, saang part ba ng life natin, kaya pa nating i-refine yung sequence para magkaroon tayo ng better outcome. So, yeah, that sums up my discussion for today. I hope you guys learned something from me. And yeah.
Alright. So, yeah, meron tayong mga nadagdag sa ating kaalaman. Thank you so much, Sais, for sharing. And then may oras pa tayo. So, guys, ito yung mga inaabangan ninyo every week, ang magpalaro. Okay? Enjoy tayo. So, mabalik tayo
Yes,
sa ating regular
congrats.
programming for the Q&A portion, which is si Miss Sai ay sasagot ng ating questions dito sa Q&A. Ayan.
Ayan. Go guys, kung meron kayong questions na hindi nasagot or may gusto kayong i-clarify isa nyo lang sa Q&A tab at mamimili si Miss Sai ng mga gusto niya sagutin. Ilan ba ma'am? Top ilan ba yung pipiliin na sasagutin?
Siguro mga 5.
Top
Kasi
5
na rin,
questions.
oo, mga 5.
Yan. Go guys!
So while they are inputting their questions, meron kanina question si Princess Sam S. Barona.
Ayan.
Sabi niya, if new lang siya sa market or bagong launch, any other way para maging legit other than testimony since open pa lang and any effective marketing strategy. So, ang a-advise ko kay Princess Sam, kapag ganon, like parang wala pang testimonials, ganyan, kasi very common yan eh. Ang pwede natin gawin is, huwag ka muna mag-market. Like, paano ka magbebenta? Bago ka pa lang, right? So, di ka pa pwedeng mag-market. You have to build a community first. You have to build your brand muna. So, you have to give to your audience. Give value, ganyan. Pakilala mo yung client mo. Pakilala mo muna kung ano ginagawa niya. Ganyan. Para pag nag-visit sila sa profile mo, it's optimized na. So, yun. Huwag ka muna mag-market. Okay? So, kapag nyo pa lang, don't even think about it.
Wow.
Okay.
Mahirap naman talaga mag-market ng
True.
wala
Nang
pang
walang, leads, walang
totoo.
audience.
Yan. Go guys.
Yung big domino statement,
Ayan.
formula po ba yan sa ad copy? Yes. It's a formula from, I think, Agora. If you know Agora, parang galing siya sa um very famous na very successful na brand. So like the guy made millions of dollars using that formula. So parang tinailor ko lang siya to so you can use it for social media. So applicable siya for social media, for emails, for sales. So kapag nasagot mo yung big domino statement, makakakuha ka ng sales. Kaya nga siya ginagamit sa ads mostly kasi nga for marketing talaga siya. Um, Need po ba may knowledge sa Facebook ads if social media marketer? No. Personally, I don't really have any prior experience sa Facebook ads kasi very self-explanatory lang siya. And usually, ang gusto kasi ng client is, di ba hinar ka na nga niya? So, you're already the marketer. Bakit pa nila kailangan mag-ads? Right. Kasi parang yung ads lang naman, gagamitin mo lang siya. Kailangan mo lang siya kapag wala kang leads. Pag nahihirapan ka talaga kumuha ng leads. Pero kung magaling ka mag-market or mag-manage ng social media, hindi na kailangan mag-pay ng clients mo para mag-run ng ads. So that's what I believe. Mas okay if mag-grow ka organically kasi lahat ng audience mo nun organic and like parang ikaw mismo nag-nurture sa kanila. And like one more thing that I read dati sa article is kapag once na nagbayad ka na sa sa ads, kaya parang makikita ng platform na okay, may pera siya, willing siya magbayad sa sa ads para ma-boost. So parang sabi nila intentionally daw binababaan ng platform yung reach mo or like sinaset up sa algorithm kasi
Mm.
parang they are trying to push you to uh boost your posts. Hmm. Um, what else? Tips po on how to grow organically. So how you can grow organically, it takes time usually. Pero my biggest advice would be that if you have a client, you would need to study their market tapos you have to find their one thing, their one unique thing. Kasi let's say for example, yung client mo nasa health industry siya. Um, Parang very ano na yung ang dami ng sobrang competition sa sa health industry. So meron kasing blue ocean and red ocean. Red ocean is yung parang sobrang dami ng competitors, dami ng competition like ang daming health coach, ang daming fitness coach, ganyan ganyan. Pero kapag blue ocean, parang onti lang yung competition, parang ikaw lang yung gumagawa nun, ikaw lang yung nagbebenta nun. So, lalo na kapag nasa red ocean ka, yung client mo, kailangan mong hanapin yung one unique thing niya kung saan siya makikilala. Kunwari, yung client mo, siya yung dapat yung pinakamagaling na coach para sa meal prepping, ganyan. Or like, siya yung pinakamagaling dito. So, kailangan mong kausapin yung client mo, like, saan ka ba magaling, ganyan. Ayun yung ima-market ko para sa'yo. So, that's how you grow organically. Yun yung best strategy ko for that. Kasi, that way, kahit nasa red ocean ka, parang ikaw pa rin yung the best dun sa niche na yan. Wait, how many na yan?
Isa
Three?
na lang, last one.
Oh, last one. Okay. Gumagamit din ba kayo ng AI for social media marketing like yung paggawa ng tagline? Of course. I think everybody uses AI naman. Pero, don't use AI na parang siya na lang gumagawa ng work mo kasi to be honest, ChatGPT or like any other AI tools are pangit sila magsulat. They are a bad writer. Pero magaling sila mag-come up with ideas. So parang pag nabe-brain fart ka, na may mental block ka, wala ka maisip, like you call that, creativity block na experience. Pag na-experience mo yon, pwede ka pumunta sa ChatGPT for ideas, ganun, or pwedeng grammar checker, or parang, pwede mo siyang, ipag-rate. Like, for example, can you rate my caption from 1 to 10? Ganyan-ganyan. Ano sa tingin mo pwede kong i-improve? Pero wag ka sa ChatGPT na, hey, write a caption for this. Kasi, it will sound too much like ChatGPT na parang hindi na siya voice ng client mo. So parang ba't ka pa hinire ng client mo when like every copywriting is you're gonna rely on ChatGPT. So,
Tama
ayun.
ka
That's
dyan.
my opinion on AI.
Okay. So, yon guys. Sana may mga natutunan kayo at kung may mga nabitin man, mag-send lang kayo sa FB page namin ng mga questions and we'll try to answer those questions. Okay? Go, Blessy.
Ayan. So, kung nabitin nga kayo, we're always posting our webinar replay. At kung may gusto kayong balikan sa mga diniscuss ng ating speaker for today, pwede niyong balikan yung webinar replay video sa ating YouTube channel, Work at Home by Vein Philippines. So, make sure kayo po ay naka-like and subscribe po sa amin. And also, kami po ay meron din pong Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook group na Work at Home by Vein Philippines. So, please like and follow us. Yun lang po yung tanging hiling namin. At sa mga nanalo, if you wanted to tag us on your prizes, tag us at Vein Philippines. Wag po tayo magpapaloko. Medyo marami na pong scammers ngayon. Mga posers na mga gumagaya ng pages and nagpapagawa ng mga tasks. So, maging ano lang po tayo aware, maging vigilant, maging laging nag-observe kung ito ba talaga yung legit na page. So, Vim Philippines lang po ang official na account ng Vim Philippines. So, pa-like, follow, and subscribe Vim Philippines for more na mga ganitong webinar. And also, I would like to take this opportunity na pasalamatan yung guest speaker natin ngayon na si Ma'am Sai. Thank you so much po. Guys, bigyan naman natin siya ng virtual applause, virtual heart, and celebrate sa mga shinare niya sa natin ngayon. Thank you po, Ma'am Cypress.
Ayan. So, taas mo na yung mga kamay sa mga gustong sumama dito sa ating picture taking para may souvenir kayo.